we doing?
How did the guys kind of respond? I mean, obviously it was a win, but I know there was.
Yeah, and we're going to meet today. Obviously, yesterday was their day off, so we got a busy week now with 2 games in the next 6 days to get ready for, and it's about just keep getting better. We actually, defensively, did some pretty good things. We got a lot of possessions. We're different than a lot of teams. We had 92 possessions in the game against CSUN. That was 12 more possessions than in any game we had all of last year. So we're playing at the pace that we want to play with. So, it's not like we want to give up 87 points, but I'm not so much worried about the points and that as much as I am how are we getting scored on, so that we can develop those type of habits, because we're going to have more possessions in our game if teams are going to run with us. And that's what CSUN did. And I think San Diego's a little bit different style. Princeton offense, I think we'll see some zone with some man, and maybe a little bit trying to get us in a little slower tempo. And so our challenge will be to keep our tempo at a high level. But I thought our transition defense was the biggest concern, but a lot of that had to do with 20 turnovers. We gave up over 20 points because of our offensive mistakes. And so it goes hand in hand. And so we can't be a team that wants to play up tempo and turn the ball over 20 times, because that puts a lot of pressure on our defense. So just shoring up some things like that, and then seeing some things on tape, whether it be individually or team concepts, that now we got to work on this week moving into the next set of games. But to come out 2-0, and do the things that we want to do, score a lot of points and get a lot of guys off the season playing pretty well, that was a big key, and that happened.
You mentioned that Alex could be out 2 to 4. Is there a definitive diagnosis on?
Not yet. I haven't seen him yet today, but I'm assuming he's going to be out this week. But obviously, I'd love to get better news today that he'll be back sooner than later, because we are shorthanded with EK start. He has started running now over the weekend, so whether he's back for Long Beach or Anaheim, he is on pace to be back in the next 7 to 10 days. So that's a positive thing for us. So we hope to have both EK. My hope is we got EK and Alex back by the weekend, if not the latest. We got them both back for Anaheim.
Thomas was shooting pretty far outside. Do you like that range for him, and just keep shooting till they fall? Or?
No, I think he might be a little bit out, but I think more about where he was shooting. He's gotten into a little bit of a hurry, and we call it screen and react. And when you react, it's about spacing, and he hasn't been spacing up to where he's got a space to. So that's what he's got to really work on, because he's one of our better shooters, and he's gotten off to a slow start. But I think most of that has been because he's been in a hurry. The thing I liked in game 2 from game 1, he was much more active. He had 3 blocks. He rebounded the ball. He was a double-double. He did some really good things for us, and I thought had much better play in game 2 than he had in game 1.
What are the challenges? You mentioned a lot of possessions. What are the challenges of trying to be up-tempo offensively, but maybe playing a slower game defensively?
Well, that is a challenge. I don't know if you can do that. That becomes hard if you try to. We don't want to play a game where people are taking 30 seconds to shoot the basketball, and then we may be shooting in 5 to 10 seconds. Now, will teams try to do that? Sure, and we're going to have to be able to defend against that. But I think that's why it's, from a defensive standpoint, it's about our principles and just fundamentally being sound in defending, whether it be defending the middle ball screen, the side ball screen, the post, down screens, cross screens, back screens, the dribble drive. Where's help come from? Where do we not want to help from? And a lot of that has to do with scouting reports, and this is new for this team. So it's learning those things as well and getting more tapes. San Diego, now we're going to have 2 tapes. They've played San Diego State and they've played Samford, so now we'll have 2 tapes. Long Beach will have 3 to 4 games on them. So the scouting reports will get a little bit more in-depth, and the guys will get to learn a little bit better by seeing that. So right now, early in the season, it's about creating those fundamental habits that we're most concerned with. But we want the game up-tempo. I mean, that's who we are. I think it's the makeup of our guys. Our guys have that mindset. We've got bigs that like to run. We got bigs that like to play in the open court. And we obviously have 4 elite guards that like to play that way.
What did you see of San Diego in those tapes?
Well, Princeton offense, so that's a lot different. It's a different kind of style. So obviously back cutting and a lot of misdirection and a lot of deceitfulness in cutting and those type of things that in a young season, that's a challenge. Being, when I say young season, we're only 2 games in. That's a challenge for our guys to really show a lot of discipline, because we don't want to give up the easy baskets. We want them to have to work hard to get the shots that they want, and when they get those shots, make sure they're contested shots. And then they've shown some multiple defenses with man and zone, which we have not seen a lot of zone as of yet, so we could see that. So, I think those are the 2 challenges. It's a pretty young team. It's not a real deep team. So it's a team that, we've got to prepare hard for, but even more so, I think the next 2 days are about us getting better more than anything else.
You mentioned a busy stretch. I think you said 8 games in 20 days. Are you doing anything to accommodate that as far as fewer practices between games?
Yeah, like yesterday, we take yesterday off, and then today and Wednesday, just back off the time. We've got to get a lift in today, and trying to maximize, going from maybe 2-hour practices to immediately. Usually you tear those things down. Today will be more like an hour and a half on the floor. Then tomorrow, probably an hour and 15. So really trying to back down the time and yet get the stuff in that we've got to get in to fundamentally teach, because it's a very demanding stretch. And when we get to Thursday, ends up being 5 games in about 10 days. So it gets crunched together, and spending a little bit more time in film, because this is a very good basketball IQ team that we have, and they learn a lot in the film room. So trying to teach that way to where it's a little bit more taxing mentally, but not as bad physically.
You talked a little bit about it after the Pacific game, but how much does it matter to you that this style, the up-tempo, is so entertaining and could affect things like attendance, and you're getting guys making plays on Sports Center? I mean, does that affect recruiting? Does it have larger effects?
Well, we got the #1 class so far in 2017, and they've seen our style, and that's a style we weren't able to play last year. We were able to play it in year 1 and year 2, and we just didn't have the bodies or the makeup to play it in year 3. If we can stay healthy, get healthy and stay healthy, we have the makeup of a team that can play up tempo, because we have a lot of guys that can score the ball. And we've got a lot of guys that can score the ball in a variety of ways. You saw it in game 2. I was shocked in game 1 that we were only a 70% foul shooting team, because we have been habitually in practice around 85, 86, which is really high as a team. And in game 2, we were back over 80. So we can hurt you at the free throw line, we can hurt you at the 3-point line, we can hurt you inside the arc, like we did against CSUN. We scored, and it's very early in the season, but we scored 119 by utilizing the 3-point line in game 1. We scored 102 by not utilizing the 3-point line, but utilizing the free throw line and driving the ball. So those are the things that we want to see offensively. I just don't want to see the turnovers going up. We've got to be, because I think that then affects our defense. If we had 12 turnovers in that game instead of 20, we're giving up 70 points instead of 87. And that alone helps your defense. So it's not always what you're doing at the defensive end that helps your defense. Sometimes it's your offense as well. And I thought we were a little bit more careless, a little sloppy offensively in game 2 than we were in game 1.
With that 2017 class, how much of that was a snowball effect that started with the 2016 class and getting those guys?
Yeah, I think, hopefully a lot. We've got a brand new practice facility coming, so that's a lot. So then it's just, as you build the relationship, as coaches build relationships with players, I think they get comfortable with you of who you are as a person. Then they look at style, they look at those things, and I think the missing piece here has always been the practice facility, where our guys have unlimited access to being able to work on their games, and that's a very important piece to players today. And so we've got that coming for the 17 class. But yeah, I think there was a lot of momentum gained by those 3 guys in the 16 class.
All right, thank you, George.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Appreciate it.